Now he's
Now then,
more...
Isaiah, tell me, what did you
There's
think?
Emily apparently watching a
She
game of
was
tennis.
so pretty. She had a red dress on. Her hair was shining.
Bright gold hair.
There were lots of animals around her.
Squirrel, weasel, and a snake. A real snake.
We didn't know.
Now we did see that in the opening
But
cutscene,
we
to be
know
fair.
now. Anna was the fairy of the forest. She was a goddess. She smiled when she saw us.
She looked so happy.
That's right, Isaiah. She was a fairy. A goddess. I'm sure she is playing with those animals even now.
Of course she is.
Yeah, of course.
Most useful information, boys. Well, Emily, you can take them now.
I
They
think
have
the
served
key
their
point
purpose.
was there was a snake.
There was a snake, yes. And now...
Okay, Zach. This is where Anna's body was. And that means our unsub, our unknown subject, was here too. So, what?
So you notice like the actual the shades we've seen in some of the shooting areas are kind of in this scene, where
Yeah.
it was on the ground and it's in the sky. So this is what I'm kind of thinking of, like he is like seeing that kind of like alternate reality at the same time. So he knows when some evil has happened. That's how it's manifesting. That's how he's interpreting it. In the same way that like supposedly with mediums would interpret imagery and shit like that. You know, it's the same idea.
Yeah. I'm still not sold off the fact that he's just crazy.
That, do you know what? It's a very fine line between crazy and genius, Paul. They've always said this.
No, there's you can 100% be both.
Oh, you're so hard to please.
I know. It makes masturbation very difficult.
Zach, something is still missing. We need more clues.
Dear, I keep trying to play like a flute and nothing happens. Can I help?
But yeah, for some reason you keep calling me to do these sort of stuff, and this is the content I give you.
Yes.
And I don't know why you expect anything different.
Good question, Paul. I don't know either. Right then.
Okay.
So now,
We have gotten a clue.
so let's play along here. Let's see if you can piece together what's happening before York does.
Okay. What we have here is some grass in a
Fence
grassy
grass.
wood.
Yep.
Someone might have stepped in it.
Mm-hmm. There's a sort of hooded figure there.
Hmm.
So, Paul, anything striking at you so far with this first one?
Afraid not.
As you requested, we have permission to stay and look around as needed. But what are you planning on doing?
To examine the scene, of course.
Point finger.
Basic crime investigation
Did,
101.
did he just get a punch
We
out
might
of
uncover some
somewhere?
Further evidence.
Yes.
My men have covered
He,
this already.
he automatically puts a
I
poncho on when it's
seriously
rain, when
doubt
it's
that
starting to
there's
rain.
anything else to find.
Well, then you and Emily can wait in the car if that's the case. But I'll take my time.
And now it's rain, and we were warned that the rain brings madness.
We have been warned about that, yes. Oh, hey, look, there's something in the bird's nest.
Did a bird, like, when they're like pecking at her corpse, take some of that body back to its nest to feed its young?
Potentially. It's certainly something we can look at.
Maybe with difficulty, we might have to go to the shed to get a stepladder.
Well, actually, no, that shed is only there if you want to go for a nap.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. Remember, there's a hunger and sleep bar happening at all times in this game. So, hey, there you have it. There's a missing heel that was in the bird's nest.
Okay, so presumably that lady was
Wearing it.
It's grassy out here. Like, I'm not really sure how fragile heels are, but I imagine the
In
soil
wet
around here
grassland, very.
so, you know.
Whoop.
She is. I hate this. Why did it come to this?
Okay, picture's getting clear.
Yes. So, what's your first impressions, Paul, so far?
I'm still not entirely sure.
Kind of pickles.
Yeah. Sadly, I'm not quite the detective in real life. I'm.
Not many people can be, Paul. To be fair, it takes a very special breed.
And presumably, you know, actual teaching and training.
Naturally. My God, we have reached critical pickles, folks. We have officially have too many.
Well, you know you have too many pickles when something up your ass joke. I'm sorry. I
fill in the
fumbled.
blanks. I think we got the gist. To be fair, we got the
I
gist.
started with something and then I just like tripped at the second hurdle and just no.
Right in the face. Oh, hello. It's a picture.
You mean those cops didn't spot a fucking picture?
Apparently not. No.
Morons!
You're forgetting, Paul. Small town cops.
Oh god, you're right. It's probably the sheriff's inbred nephew.
Precisely. Hey, you leave Thomas alone. He's a sweetheart.
No, he was probably gonna come here. He probably drove up, didn't so much leave his car, and just sat around eating donuts.
I mean, yeah.
Like he just drove here to eat donuts, looked at the window for a bit, and then went home.
It's a living. Okay.
Institutional incompetence is what it is.
Welcome to America. With institutional incompetence is our middle name.
I mean, yeah, you're right. It's a Japanese game. Yeah.
More pickles.
Why? Why do you keep? Okay, it's abundantly clear. There's an entire barrel full of jars of pickles, and you can have as many as you'd like. But
Paul,
why?
you will be later on in this game, and you'll be thanking me. I collected all those pickles. You'll be thanking me.
Are we going to have to eat a lot of burgers and die and eat us some pickles?
To be fair, there is a burger joint in town, so that's entirely possible.
I now have concerns that I may have a scene of this. And I think I've seen a scene where that rich wheelchair guy goes into that diner and then says some of the weirdest shit imaginable.
Again, that's also very, very possible. It would not be past this game to do that. Oh, hello. Oh. Do I notice it? Oh yes, of course. How foolish.
How dare you leave a piece of wood unbroken? You have a pipe. Hit things with it. Hit things with it until all is destroyed.
But Paul, our pipe is only 75% fresh. We have to conserve it just in case we get hit by the anti-gun zombies.
You're right. I completely forgot about the anti-gun zombies. How could I have forgotten about the anti-gun zombies, which are definitely a thing that I am sure exists?
I'm not as sure, but I would like to think at some point there may be one. Look at that malevolent sky. Remember, bad things happen when it rains.
Yeah. Well,
I love that George is having a little toddle around going like, I fucking hate this FBI agent, but I have to be here.
I could, be observing and learning and bettering myself and my job. But no, I'm going to stand here and be wet and be angry and then be more wet and then be more angry and then I'll get stubborn and stand in the rain even more and then it will just have this continuously refeeding itself loop.
Yes. It's the life of a sheriff, Paul, to stand in the rain and get cranky.
See, I thought that was more of a watchman deal.
Yeah, true.
That's like the entry level position where you just torment the shit out of.
Hey, we got a character
what?
card. That's nice. You get if you basically it's like there are cash bonuses if you find these like trading cards of all the characters.
Fair enough then.
Yeah. And yes, there was the net we were looking for. The nest we were looking for. Now we got our final clue. We can piece all this together.
Truly, the steel pipe is a modern detective's version of a magnifying glass.
Indeed. All else fails, hit it with your fucking pipe. No, a chip.
Metal rusty chip.
What
What happened to this poncho?
Don't worry about it. It's stopped raining.
Okay.
I haven't seen one of these in a long time. It's upside down. I guess this is meant to be an anti-peace sentiment then.
These holes on the ground were made by high stiletto heels all around here. And this depression here, Agent Morgan, I see what happened.
Oh, just be good.
He hung her from the tree and put on her shoes. He was really enjoying it. Sicko.
I love the York's going like, oh, this should be good.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
It's like, at which point will I tell him he's being stupid?
George, you certainly have a vivid imagination. An interesting theory. Don't you think, Zach?
I love that his light is still on, so it's just shining in the poor guy's face.
Oh,
That's
God,
right.
yeah.
Joel. We really ought to introduce George to him, Zach.
What the fuck is he talking about?
Good question.
Profiling is a little different from writing a screenplay, though. An idea being interesting doesn't make it fact.
By the way, the light is not
But-
coming from anywhere, by the way.
Let me enlighten you, George.
Yeah.
The footprints reveal that one of the heels were missing from the shoes. And they're different from Anna's shoes that we saw at the office. Furthermore, there would be even more disgusting evidence if he did kneel and, well, do as you suggested. If you want proof, go ahead and try it for yourself. He knelt here for a reason other than simple perversion. Zach, what was he doing in front of Anna?
Now we're gonna find out as we put the pieces together.
I'm intrigued at this point.
Here we go.
I need this explained to me.
Here's the guy, apparently. So, what does that all mean?
Now I get it. He was kneeling to pray in front of her. Just like the twins said. She was a goddess. The unsung, or unknown subject, offered prayers to Anna's body. Its bitten out tongue and massive body wound. Once dead Anna was transformed from an object of despite into one of worship. So, who is Miss Stiletto Heels? The steps are close coming up to the body, and then farther apart going away.
There was a reason to hurry away then.
That settles it then, George. Miss Stiletto Heels is a third party here. She's not the murderer.
It's a witness.
No one runs away from an object of worship. She could be another victim who was with Anna. Or perhaps an accomplice who fled for some reason.
But the crucial thing is, not the first
Is
person on the
also
scene, as
one
opposed to the children.
Whatever it was, Anna was holding on to in her hand.
But why? Why did she leave her here?
Only Miss Stiletto Heels knows the reason for that.
Like, consider again, like, okay,
She
so
might
she
know
was there
something
before
about
the children
man
were.
with the reverse
Yes,
peace mark,
that's
too.
what we're kind of getting from this part.
How many women wear high stiletto heels in this town, do you think?
Oh, I should think most of them have at least one pair. I do too, before you ask. But nobody would come all the way out here wearing them.
Also, can you turn off that light? It's really annoying.
Except maybe one person.
God, yeah, like, it's still on.
Don't keep me in the dark, then. Who might this elegant lady be?
Diane, the owner of the art gallery. But she's out of town for a big art auction.
Jeez, that light is
She'll be coming
bright.
back in a couple
Yeah.
days.
That's also my capture card doing
Then
that,
we'll
so I'll
just
probably
have
fix
to
that for
give
next
her a
session.
warm welcome home. A more immediate matter, then. Where in town can you find something like this? It should be a building that isn't used anymore, with either a lot of metal or metal machinery or something like that.
That's for the rusted part.
The old lumber mill.
Ding, 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 ding.
Well, that is a clue right there.
It's time to really get this show on the road. Could you guide me to this perfect setting for extravagant murder?
I would find it hilarious if they get there and there's 9 bodies there. I think I said, and none of this was noticed.
No.
Oh,
Again, this is a small town with very few places to go to commit a murder, and the various abandoned buildings they didn't think of to look.
well, you see, the lumber mill is out in the woods. No one really goes there, and it's dangerous. So when people hear someone screaming, they just assume that one of the workers got hurt.
Yes.
I mean, it doesn't have any
clearly.
workers because we don't cut wood around here anymore. But then the story is about the ghosts of the many mangled workers, sometimes screaming in them hills.
The lumber mill is...
But it's all private land, so we can't do anything about it at the end.
If that's where she was
Oh, yeah.
killed, why would the killer go to all the trouble of carrying her all the way here?
I don't know yet. My profiling instincts tell me one thing is for sure, though. The unsub's personality is totally different before and after the crime. The unsub killed her in a brutal, horrifying way, and then displays powerful adoration after she's dead. Something close to love.
Sounds
That could
like
well
a
be the key
cult,
to all
Paul,
this.
wouldn't you say?
I will say this, though,
I mean-
George. Profiling is a risky business. Of course, if the unsub planted those stiletto footprints himself, well then, everything I've just said falls apart. But there's no evidence that he left those stiletto footprints. I'm sure we have Miss Stiletto Heels to thank for those tracks. All I can do is deduce the unsub's feelings in light of the evidence, and carefully figure the unsub's MO, modus operandi, his way of thinking. It usually unveils something that a normal forensic analysis may overlook.
I like that he
That's
has to
my way
tell
of
us this.
profiling. It's not for everyone, but it works for me.
Well, you don't kind of
Again, I
have
love
to.
it.
Like, they don't know any of this. They're small town cops.
Precisely. Not even that though. It's the fact as well. They are kind of sitting and pretending to think, pretending to care.
Because he's the driver and they can't go anywhere.
That's fair, yeah.